A 12-year-old homeless girl walked into one of the richest banks in downtown Chicago with nothing but a thin jacket and a worn-out white card her dying mother made her promise to protect. The billionaire behind the desk laughed. He thought she was wasting his time. But when he swiped that card, his face went pale. His hands started shaking. And what he saw on that screen didn't just shock him, it flipped an entire life upside down. And listen, don't click away, because this girl's story will break your heart and then, somehow, put it back together again.
Welcome to Justice Served. While you're here, hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing the family check in. Now settle in, because I'm about to tell you a story about loss, hope, and the kind of miracle that only shows up when you've almost stopped believing in miracles at all. Her name was Lily Parker, and she was only 12 years old. That morning, the wind in downtown Chicago didn't play nice. The kind of cold that cuts through fabric like it's paper. The kind of cold that makes your fingers stiff and your stomach tighten. Lily stood outside the towering glass entrance of Sterling Trust Bank, staring up at doors so huge they looked like the gates to a different world. She didn't look like she belonged there, because she didn't. Her jacket was too thin. Her shoes were worn down with holes in the soles. Her hair was matted from too many nights with no warm water and no safe place to rest. But in her small hand, dirty and trembling, she held one thing like it was a living heartbeat. A white plastic card, scratched and faded, like it had been carried through storms. And it had, because that card was the last thing her mother ever gave her. 3 years earlier, Lily's mother, Sarah Parker, had been lying in a hospital bed, the kind of week that comes before goodbye. Her voice was barely a whisper. She took Lily's hand, pressed the card into her palm, and said, "Keep this safe, baby. Keep it safe. When the time is right, you'll know what to do with it." Lily was only 9. She didn't understand. She wanted to ask questions, but her mother's eyes were tired. So Lily did what children do when they're scared. She promised. And she kept that promise through everything. Through foster homes that felt cold even when the heater worked. Through nights sleeping in bus stations, pretending she wasn't alone. Through days when hunger made her dizzy and shame made her quiet. That card became more than plastic. It became the last piece of her mother's love, sealed in something that couldn't rot or fade away. And now, standing outside Sterling Trust Bank, Lily finally believed the time might be right. She walked forward and pushed the heavy doors open with both hands. Warm air hit her face like a soft slap of comfort. For a second, she just stood there, breathing in warmth like it was a luxury. Inside, the bank looked like money had built a palace. Polished marble floors that reflected the lights, tall columns reaching up to a ceiling painted with clouds and angels. Everything clean, glossy, expensive, like nobody in here had ever slept hungry. And Lily, small, cold, tired, felt invisible and exposed at the same time. People moved around her like she wasn't human. A woman in pearls wrinkled her nose and stepped aside. A man with a briefcase stared like Lily was a problem. A security guard watched her too closely, one hand near his radio. Lily's cheeks burned, her stomach sank, but she kept walking. Because when your whole life has been survival, you learn something powerful. You can feel fear and still take the next step. She approached the customer service counter, where a young woman sat with her hair pulled back neatly and her name tag shining. Jessica looked up, and something different happened. Her face didn't twist in disgust. Her eyes didn't narrow. She didn't recoil. She softened. "Hello, sweetheart," Jessica said gently. "How can I help you today?" Lily swallowed. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. I need to check something on this card." She slid the old card across the counter like it was sacred. Jessica picked it up carefully, turning it over. The numbers were worn down. The strip was scratched. It looked like something most people would throw away without a thought. But Jessica's eyebrows lifted, because the logo on it was real. It was Sterling Trust. "Okay, honey," Jessica said. "Let me see what I can find. What's your name?" "Lily," she whispered. "Lily Parker." Jessica smiled, typing into her computer. "All right, Lily. Give me just a moment." Lily stood there while the bank hummed around her, phones ringing, printers running, money people doing money things. And in that noise, Lily's mind drifted back to her mother. Her mother's laugh. Her mother's singing while cooking, sometimes just rice and beans, but she'd sing like she was making a feast. Her mother used to tell her bedtime stories about princesses who weren't rescued. princesses who fought through darkness and still chose to be kind. "You're my brave girl," her mother would say. "No matter what happens, you keep being brave. You keep being kind, and you never, ever give up hope." Lily had tried, but hope gets heavy when you're cold, hungry, and alone. Jessica's face changed while she looked at the screen. Not fear, but confusion, then concern. She leaned forward, typed again, clicked, and then she picked up the phone. "Mr. Wellington," she said, professional. "I need access to the Legacy Archive system. There's an old account here, flagged as a legacy file, and I don't have clearance." Lily's stomach dropped. Legacy? Archive? Clearance? That sounded like trouble. Jessica paused, listening. "Yes, sir," she said. "It's unusual. I think you should come see." Lily's heart started pounding. Because when adults start making calls, kids like Lily usually end up punished, especially kids who look like they don't belong. And that's when he appeared.
He walked from the back offices like he owned the air. Tall, mid-50s, silver hair, suit so sharp it looked tailored with a blade. Shoes so shiny they reflected the ceiling lights. Gold watch on his wrist like a small trophy. This was Richard Wellington, Senior Vice President. The kind of man who handled accounts worth millions. The kind of man who gave speeches about integrity while deciding who deserved help. And his face said one thing clearly. "Why are you wasting my time?" "Jessica," he said, barely looking at Lily. "What is this?" Jessica held her ground. "Sir, this young lady has a Sterling Trust card. It's in our system, but it's flagged as a legacy account. I don't have access." Richard finally looked at Lily, and Lily felt it, the scan. From her hair to her jacket to her shoes. A quiet judgment with loud consequences. His lip curled, just slightly. "And where did you get this card, young lady?" he asked. Not respectful, suspicious. Lily forced her eyes up. "My mother gave it to me, before she died." Richard held out his hand. Lily placed the card into his palm. He examined it like it might be contaminated. "This card is old," he said flatly. "Are you sure it's legitimate?" "My mama wouldn't lie," Lily said, voice cracking on mama. Richard sighed like he was doing charity work. "Fine, come with me. We'll verify it at the executive terminal." He glanced at Jessica. "You can get back to work." But Jessica stood up. "Sir, I'd like to come with Lily," she said firmly, polite but unmoving. "She seems nervous." Richard looked annoyed, then nodded. "Fine." They walked through the bank, an odd trio, the executive, the employee, and the homeless girl. And the whispers followed them like flies. Is that child lost? Why is Mr. Wellington dealing with her? She probably stole it. Someone should call child services. Each whisper was a knife, but Lily kept her head up, because her mother raised her with something that money can't buy. Dignity. They entered a private executive corridor. Wood-paneled walls, thick carpet, quiet, like power lives here. Richard's office overlooked the Chicago skyline. His desk was huge, polished, and behind him were diplomas, awards, and photos of him shaking hands with important people. He sat down like a judge. "Sit," he said to Lily. Lily sat in the chair across from him, trying not to shrink into herself. Jessica stood beside her like a shield, one hand resting gently on Lily's shoulder. Richard inserted the card into a special reader. He typed fast, clicked. For a few seconds, his face stayed the same, cold, bored, in control. Then, his typing slowed. His eyes narrowed. He leaned closer to the screen. He clicked again, and again. Then he whispered, barely audible, "That can't be right." He typed something else, more aggressively now, and Lily watched the color drain from his face like someone pulled a plug. His mouth opened, then closed. His hands started to shake. Jessica leaned in. "Sir, is everything okay?" Richard didn't answer. He just stared at the screen like it was speaking a language he didn't believe existed.
Lily's throat tightened, her stomach twisted, because she didn't know if she was about to be arrested, or thrown out, or humiliated worse than ever. Finally, Richard looked up at Lily, and the man who had looked at her with disgust only minutes earlier now looked at her with something else. Shock. Pure shock.
"What's your full name?" he asked, voice suddenly careful.
"Lily Rose Parker," she said.
"And your mother's name?" he asked quickly.
"Sarah Parker."
Richard snatched up his phone. "Margaret," he said, "I need you in my office now. And bring David from legal, immediately." He hung up so fast, it sounded like a slap. Jessica's hand tightened on Lily.
"Mr. Wellington, you're scaring her."
Richard ran a hand through his hair, messing it up like he'd forgotten how to be polished. Then he spoke slowly. "Lily, do you know the name Thomas Brennan?" Lily blinked, thinking hard. That name, it stirred something faint. "My mom cleaned houses. I think she mentioned him once, a long time ago." Richard swallowed. "He was more than a client," he said quietly. "Much more." The door opened and two people came in fast. A woman in a sharp suit, Margaret, and a man with a leather folder, David. They looked at Richard like, "What is so urgent?" Then they noticed Lily and looked confused. Richard turned his monitor toward them. They leaned in, and Lily watched their faces change in real time. Margaret's hand flew to her mouth. David's eyes widened. He whispered something under his breath that sounded like, "Oh my God." Lily couldn't take it anymore. "Please," she said, voice shaking. "Can someone tell me what's happening? Did I do something wrong?" Richard turned fully toward her, and the tone of his voice softened in a way Lily did not expect from a man like him. "Lily, you didn't do anything wrong." He paused, like the truth was heavy. "You just discovered something unbelievable." He took a breath. Thomas Brennan was a wealthy man, extremely wealthy. Real estate, properties all over Chicago. Lily listened, confused. He had no children. After his wife died, he became lonely, sick. "And your mother," Richard's voice lowered. "Your mother didn't just work for him. She cared for him. She stayed with him. She treated him like a human being when other people treated him like a wallet." Lily felt tears prick her eyes, because that sounded like her mother. Always helping, always giving. Richard continued. "She brought you with her sometimes when you were little. You were 4, maybe 5. Lily's memory sparked, faint and warm. A big house, a garden, a gentle old man with kind eyes, handing her cookies. Richard nodded, seeing recognition. "Thomas Brennan fell ill 8 years ago, and in his final months, your mother took care of him." Silence filled the room. Then Richard said the next part like he could barely believe it himself. "Before Thomas Brennan died, he created a trust fund. He looked directly at Lily, and he named you as the beneficiary." Lily's breath caught. I don't understand." Jessica crouched beside Lily, holding her hand. "Sweetheart, that means he left you money." "A lot," David added quietly, still scanning his paperwork. Richard stood, walked to a crystal pitcher, poured water, and brought it to Lily himself. Not an assistant, not Jessica. Him. Hands still shaking. "Here," he said quietly. "Drink." Lily sipped, barely steady. Then she asked the question that tore the room open. Why didn't my mom use it? Why didn't she tell me? She got sick. We couldn't afford medicine." Her voice shattered. "If she knew, she could have..." David cleared his throat, uncomfortable, like legal truth is sometimes cruel. "The trust was structured so your mother could not access it," he explained. "It was designed specifically for you, released at 18, unless there's a special circumstance requiring judicial review." Lily blinked, tears falling again. "So, she knew?" Richard nodded slowly. "She knew about the trust. She knew what it meant." His voice tightened. "But she also knew she couldn't touch it, not legally." Lily felt rage and grief collide. "So she just let us suffer?" Jessica held Lily's hand tighter. Richard shook his head. "No, listen to me, Lily. Your mother didn't let you suffer." He leaned forward. "She protected your future, even if it cost her everything." That line landed like thunder, because suddenly Lily understood the card differently. Her mother didn't give her a lottery ticket. She gave her a key, and carried the burden of not being able to use it. And that kind of sacrifice? That's real love.
Lily wiped her face with the back of her hand. "What happens now?" she whispered. Margaret straightened, switching into action. "Now we get you safe," she said. "Tonight, immediately." David nodded. "We find you a guardian, and we protect your assets from anyone who tries to take advantage of you." Richard looked at Lily, and, this matters, he didn't look down at her anymore. He looked at her like she mattered. And then he did something Lily never expected. He apologized. "Lily, I owe you an apology," Richard said. "When you walked in, I judged you." His voice was firm, ashamed. "I made assumptions. I treated you like a problem, and I was wrong." Lily stared at him. "I'm used to it," she said quietly. "People look at me like that all the time." Richard's jaw tightened.
Well, they shouldn't. And from this moment forward, that changes. He looked to Margaret and David. "Start immediately," he ordered. "Food, warm clothes, safe shelter. Now." And what happened next was a whirlwind Lily could barely follow. Jessica took Lily to a private bathroom and helped her wash up. Warm water, lavender soap, a mirror that didn't feel like an enemy for once. Margaret called a boutique and arranged clothing delivery. Fast. David made calls to social services and legal contacts. And Richard, Mr. Important, left his own office and returned with a tray from the executive dining room. Soup, sandwich, fruit, cookies, milk. Real food, not scraps. Lily ate slowly because hunger does that to your stomach, shrinks it, trains it to expect disappointment. Jessica sat beside her the whole time, gently reminding Lily she was safe. The clothing arrived in neat bags with ribbons, like a world Lily had only seen on TV. Clean jeans, a soft sweater, thick socks, a winter coat that actually held warmth, and new shoes, her size. Lily changed and looked in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, she saw a child again. Not a survivor, a child. When she walked back into Richard's office, everyone's face softened. "You look beautiful," Jessica said, eyes watery. A social worker arrived, Patricia, calm, kind, professional. She explained they would arrange temporary placement and guardianship with special care given Lily's situation. David crouched slightly to Lily's level. "We're going to protect you," he promised. "This is your future, not someone else's payday." As the day moved into evening, Richard arranged a hotel suite for Lily. Safe, warm, secure. Jessica volunteered to stay with her until placement was finalized. Before Lily left the bank, Richard walked her to the front entrance. And then, right there in the marble lobby where people had stared at her like she was trash, Richard Wellington knelt down so he was eye level with her. "Lily," he said, "you're going to have opportunities most people never get." He held her gaze. "You can go to any school you want, live where you want, become whatever you dream." He paused. "But listen to me. Money doesn't make you who you are." He nodded toward the card. "Your mother raised you to be brave and kind. Don't lose that. Not now, not ever." Lily swallowed hard and nodded. Then Richard added, "And thank you." Lily blinked. "For what?" "For reminding me why I got into this business," he said. "I forgot. You reminded me." That night, Lily stepped into a hotel room that felt like a dream. A huge bed, soft white sheets, a bathroom with marble counters, a skyline view of Chicago glittering like a million tiny promises. Jessica ordered room service, and they ate dinner while watching cartoons on the biggest TV Lily had ever seen. Later, after a long hot shower and fresh pajamas, Lily sat on the bed holding the card. That scratched piece of plastic that she had guarded like a secret. And she finally spoke the truth she'd carried. "I used to be angry at my mama," Lily said quietly, "for leaving me, for dying." Tears rolled down her cheeks again. "But now, I understand. She was fighting." Jessica sat beside her and wrapped an arm around her. "She protected my future," Lily whispered, "even if it cost her everything." Jessica held her close. "Your mama loved you more than anything," she said, "and she'd be so proud of you." Lily's voice turned small. "I miss her." "I know, sweetheart. I know." And for the first time in years, Lily fell asleep warm, safe, and full. Not because life became perfect overnight, but because for once, tomorrow didn't feel like a threat. The next morning, sunlight poured through the windows. Jessica was on the phone when Lily woke up. She turned with a smile. "Good morning, sunshine. I've got good news." David had found a guardian candidate, Helen, a retired teacher and experienced foster parent. Financially stable, no greed,
no desperation, just steady love. Over the next weeks, Lily's life began to stabilize. Helen's home had books, warm food, and the kind of quiet that lets a child breathe again. Helen helped Lily with schoolwork and with nightmares. Margaret structured the trust so Lily's needs were covered while protecting the bulk of the inheritance. David built legal walls around Lily's future so nobody could touch it. Richard checked in, often, and slowly, the man who had once looked down on her became someone who listened. Jessica remained in Lily's life like family. Museum trips, ice cream, walks in the park, small moments that teach a child the world can be safe again. But the biggest change wasn't the money. It was what Lily chose to do with it. Because Lily remembered hunger, she remembered cold, she remembered being invisible. So when she got older, she created the Sarah Parker Foundation, named after her mother. A foundation dedicated to homeless children and struggling families. Food, shelter, medical care, school support, scholarships. The kind of help Lily wished her mother could have had. And every year, on the anniversary of that cold Tuesday morning, Lily visited her mother's grave. She sat beside that headstone and said, "We did it, Mama. We took what was left and made it matter." Because Lily learned the truth most people learn too late. Money can change your circumstances, but it can't buy character. And Lily's character came from a mother who gave everything she had, even when she had almost nothing. Lily kept the white card framed on her desk, not hidden, not locked away, where she could see it every day. A reminder that love leaves receipts. And if this story touched your heart, don't just feel it, carry it. Be someone's soft moment in a hard world. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment where you choose compassion instead of judgment. Because somewhere out there, someone is walking into their hardest day, and they're hoping, quietly, that somebody sees them. This is Justice Served. Subscribe for more stories that remind us what matters. And in the comments, tell me, what part of Lily's story hit you the hardest?